All right, Edgar Cayce, after the shift, the signs you're ready for the new earth. What's the shift? What are the signs? And why am I talking about Edgar Cayce? He's an interesting guy, and he has accessed the Akashic records. This is one of the reasons I really love his readings, is because he's not claiming to be channeling somebody. He's going out to the records in a space where he didn't actually believe himself personally half the stuff that he was saying, because he's a very religious man. So I'm going to go into this and tell you, what is the shift? How does it operate? Some of you are so concerned about this, like it's going to be the rapture and people are going to be left behind. That's not at all how it works. And I'm actually going to go into what Edgar Cayce said about humans, why we're here, what our mission is, and what happens when we leave here, and when do we stop coming back here. This is really cool stuff. So let's get started right away. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube. I'm here to help you break through fear. All I do is focus on fear. You know, we have to be responsible for this because you are a co-creator and you're making choices. You can't blame anything or anybody else for your fear other than the fact that we get programmed when we come here and we forget who and what we are. So then we fall into this whole trap of the ego, which is a control mechanism by other people who want us to live in fear, and it just goes on and on. So we're here to break through that. What happens when you do? Anything you want. You could walk through walls, literally. Well, we're not going to go that far today, but let's talk about after the shift. What is it? The signs that you're ready for the new earth. How does that happen? We're going to get ready for it because it's actually happening right now. I hope that you will subscribe, and I have some free cool stuff for you, including an email series and a masterclass on how to break through fear, and all kinds of worksheets and PDFs for you to actually take the steps. That is in Landria Onkka Free Inspiration. And I'm going to talk to you at the end of this video about ways you can clean up your environment and start to actually live and be that person in the new earth. It starts now. You got to live it. And I'm going to give you some choices to do that. So let's talk about Edgar Cayce. If you know Edgar Cayce, he was called the sleeping prophet. He would go into a deep trance and he would go into this space where all answers lie. And he shared that the answers were coming from a place called the Akashic Records. And I don't know if you're aware of this. The Akashic Records isn't your life and that's how it's going to be. It's your life as you're creating it. So it's interchangeable. Every probability and possibility rests there. And so he's just reading probabilities for our planet. And so all the predictions that I've been giving you were probabilities that we could change. I want to make that clear because this is what he shared. Everything is our choice, including our ending. And if you ever want to come back here again, you can do this in this lifetime. Every single person watching this video can. So Edgar Cayce's readings frequently address the spiritual evolution of humans. That was his big focus, emphasizing that all individuals are spiritual beings having a physical experience, and that the process of life is one of soul growth and development. This is why we're here. We're not on a prison planet. We chose it. We forgot what we were so that we could go through challenges, darkness, pain, and know it, and make choices to go back to that soul space of oneness and love. Why? Yeah. Why would we do this? Well, we'll talk a little bit more about this. Let's talk about humanity's spiritual state and destiny. The nature of the soul. Cayce readings state that all souls were created in the beginning as one spirit, Spirit of God. Don't forget this when you're looking at other person, pointing fingers. All began as one. And the current experience in time and space represents a descent in consciousness or separation from complete awareness of spirit. Separation of awareness, not separation of the energy field itself. Let's get that one clear. So the purpose of life, the primary purpose for a soul's activity in the material world is its evolution or evolving of the soul into its awareness. We're just going back to remembering, but experiencing all these things that we don't experience when we are one and all love. We don't go into that space. We don't get angry and point fingers or get sad because we know there's no endings. So we're getting to experience that. We're getting to know it. One wants to know everything about what it can be, which is unlimited. So evolving back into our awareness of its relationships to the God consciousness. All right, we're going back into the God consciousness, and that's that high penthouse I talk about. You got to get out of the basement. Nobody's going to do it for you. It's a choice. So the ultimate goal, the destiny of every soul is to become fully conscious of its true relationship to the Creator, which is a co-creator, which Cayce described as ultimately achieving what he called the Christ consciousness, or oneness with the creative forces. Oneness. You don't become one again. You become aware that you already are and always have been that. So it's the Christ consciousness. So spirituality over technology. Now, we're not talking about AI and dissing it right now because I love AI. Cayce's readings suggested that the true advancements are in spirit, stating that spirituality will surpass technology. This you will see happening. And it's not that technology isn't going to go gangbusters, because it is at lightning speed, but there will be a spiritual evolution that will surpass it. It will not control us. Well, it'll control some of us. Some of us like that condition. They want to use it for ego. And here's when it gets dangerous. So spirituality will surpass technology, and that it is infinitely more powerful and fruitful to advance spiritually than technologically. Now, what does that mean? Don't be afraid of it, but we're going to absolutely focus on the spiritual Christ consciousness in us first, because helping your neighbors and all these other things that we can do as a community that's going to save our planet and our destiny as humans comes from that spiritual oneness within. So the guidance for spiritual awakening, Cayce provided extensive guidance on how individuals can move into a more spiritual state of being, stressing that soul development should take precedence over all things. This has to be your top priority. Every decision you make, what do you put in your mouth? What are you using? What are you purchasing? Do not let the ego-based basement ego thinking out there influence you, because it wants you to stay there. It wants you consuming, destroying. It wants you broke. It wants you unhappy because it can control you. We have to go into that higher consciousness and understand we hold the power, all of us. So we have to establish a spiritual ideal. He recommended consciously establishing a spiritual ideal such as love, forgiveness, compassion, service to others. This ideal helps establish the why behind everyday actions and is considered singularly important to the soul's development. I saw somebody on one of our neighborhood emails saying, I'm depressed. What should I do? All the suggestions, go for a walk, eat healthy, all these. Not one person said, go out and help somebody else. I did. I said, volunteer your time for those in need, and you will find your purpose and joy. So that's what we must focus on. The next thing, attunement and application. Spiritual growth is centered on attunement. That's awakening to our spiritual nature. We're just going back to what we are, right? It's here. It never left. And application, living out the spiritual ideal. And I'm going to go through these ways that we can achieve this. Attunement means the most frequently recommended tools for attunement are the regular practice of prayer, talking to one, meditation, is really listening. Application involves living out the fruits of the Spirit, daily interactions, meaning acting with love, kindness, gentleness, and patience towards others, especially the people that irk you the most. Those are the ones you want to send your light and love, because they're in the basement, right? They don't know that there's light. So you definitely want to send it to them. They're coming from a place of fear. Sadness, anger, somebody didn't love them. They're the ones that test us the most. So Cayce stated, just being kind, just being patient, just showing love for thy fellow man, that is the manner in which an individual works at becoming aware of the consciousness, that Christ spirit. Now we're going to talk about mind as the builder. Cayce frequently reminded people that spirit is the life, mind is the builder, and physical is the result. So everything you're seeing here is the spirit coming into the body and then having these choices that we make that then produces the physical world. This is what you're seeing now. So all the strife you're seeing is a result of our mind building that physical world out there. And so we're that powerful, right? So the mind focuses spiritual energy, and what you think, live upon, or feed upon in your mind is what your soul body ultimately becomes. Are you harboring anger, resentment? Are you pointing fingers? Are you saying us and them? You are totally in basement thinking. Talk to the hand. Charlie Brown, the teacher's talking, and all they hear is wah, wah, wah. And that's what I hear when I hear people arguing. The subject matter is irrelevant. The fact that they're arguing tells me that they're seeing themselves as separate, right or wrong. Everybody's right. If you think it, you're right. You're right for you. You don't have to impose that on anyone else. All right. We don't even have to talk about it. That's the beauty of diversity. So conquering self, the path is a gradual, step-by-step accomplishment attained line upon line, precept upon precept. He noted that the conquering of self is truly greater than if one were to conquer many worlds. Now, he didn't even believe in reincarnation, but you can end reincarnation. He did talk about it. He was a religious man. He didn't believe in reincarnation. So when he was over there, he didn't even know what he was saying. He came back with this information. He's like, what? What is this? Reincarnation. But the story that he gave was beautiful, that these teachings, when we evolve and when we learn and we experience and then we go into that penthouse, we don't have to come back. And that's the game. You actually leave and you do not have to reincarnate. He said there will be a completion. And at some point when you've done all you can here and learned, and now you go into something else amazing, maybe another planet, another form that we can't even imagine. That's pretty exciting. So I want you to know this split that's going on, and we call it a split because people that make a choice to stay in ego will be in a different functioning dimension than those who choose the light and the love and the unity and the oneness and the Christ consciousness. We will function differently on the same planet, aware of one another, but believing and seeing and experiencing something completely different. All right? That's how it works. The split is not physical. However, it can be physical if, like, you stop hanging out with certain people, but they will still be on planet Earth. They'll just start hanging around with others. Now, let's talk about that shift. So you know by now it's real. You're sensing it. Something big is happening, and we're in the middle of it. All right? You're going to see some major things happening. You're going to see movements on the planet of creating and doing things that is breaking away from the systems and institutions and everybody else who tells us this is how things go. From our health to what we purchase, what we believe, how we function every day, we are now going over to creative side, and that is the higher frequency. If there's this problem, instead of complaining, let's create the solution. You guys in digitalexplorers.net, that is a free webinar. I help you to find your purpose there, and then we monetize it. We solve problems. We earn money doing it. All right. So what are we doing? We're saying there's another way to do business. There's another way to earn money. It's solving problems on the planet and also giving myself purpose. And everything in your life has to function that way. And if it's not, there's an opportunity for you because the Akashic records show that every probability exists. You pull this thread and all of a sudden you're in another destination. You can do it. All right. So we've talked about Edgar Cayce, the timelines, and we just did the 3 days of darkness. What is that? Remember that all of these things that we hear were so old, right? The interpretation of what they meant was usually coming from fear of God, separation from God, and some kind of interpretation of control, usually by religions that didn't have our best interests in mind. So I want you to know we've gone into a completely way of looking at this that's very different. So a lot of people said, Landria, I'm scared I'm not going to make it. I'm afraid my family won't shift. So today I'm going to do something very different. Instead of talking about what might happen out there, we're going to talk about what's happening in here, because this is going to determine this upcoming year. If you stick to what I'm talking about today, you will help form a golden era that's going to accelerate. If you're in fear still and you think you're not going to make it, that we're separate, then you're still thinking material world. So today I want to help you shift into that because once you go into this higher realm, things become crystal clear. They also become more difficult in a lot of ways because the pain of the planet hurts so much deeper because you care so much and there's so much love, and you see that there are people that don't understand or feel that love. So you might be experiencing that, and I'm going to explain some of these symptoms you're going to have. New Earth is not a place you escape to, it's a frequency you embody. Okay? So again, it's not perfect in the way that, oh, we're in euphoria and nothing ever goes wrong. We still function on a physical earth. We'll still get challenges. Your choices will be different. So stay with me. I'm going to share these 5 very practical signs that you're ready for the new earth energy and how you can start to work on things. And I'll give you simple daily practices you can strengthen, each one of you starting today. By the way, if you are not experiencing all 5 yet, it doesn't mean you're failing the shift. It simply shows that where your soul is inviting you to grow. So let's dive in. What after the shift really means. When I say after the shift, I'm not talking about a single dramatic day on a calendar where some are taken and some are left behind. The Bible says that. One person will be standing in the field and disappear, and another one they will appear to us because they'll no longer really be in our lives, right? We're going to function differently with them. It's talking about a frequency, not a physical body. He spoke of changes. Edgar Cayce spoke of changes in the earth and consciousness. We're in it right now. So that's why you guys say he never said certain dates. No, he didn't. He gave well, he did, but he was way off most of the time. He couldn't read time. No one can read time. I've been to readers before in the past, and they said, we don't know time. We just know events because there's no such thing as time. But the events that he saw, absolutely taking place right now. So we're in this spiritual evolution, which is amazing. And then we're talking about the splitting of the worlds where, Dolores Cannon spoke of that. This isn't punishment. This isn't punishment. I know it feels like it sometimes. Sometimes I'm thinking, why would I choose this? If we're perfect, why would we choose to go through this? It's ridiculous. Well, so that we can know that, right? If you've never known darkness, you can't explain it to somebody, right? So New Earth is a state of consciousness, compassion, unity, responsibility, and creative power. You can't blame anybody else. Nobody ever makes you feel or think anything. You are totally in control. They could try. But that's when you go into the higher frequency and your feathers don't get ruffled anymore. You're like, wow, okay, I'm making a different choice. And you don't have to wait for it to arrive. You become it. So make sure you go to the end of my video today because I'm going to help you make those choices. So these 5 signs, they are not a test. They're evidence that your frequency is already shifting. So sign number one, you're losing interest in fear narratives, right? Guys, some of you have been on all these conspiracies and stuff, and you come back to my channel and you go, ooh, that didn't feel good. I got lost along the way, and now you're realizing it doesn't feel good. You don't like it. You've noticed this. The news doesn't hit the same way anymore. I don't watch the news. People probably think I've been living under a rock, but frankly, most of it's fake anyways, and it's fear-based. There's constant drama, the outrage, the us versus them. It feels heavy, noisy, almost static. You're tired of taking sides, and you don't. You may still see it, but something in you says, I don't want to feed this. I don't want to participate in it. And I see that everybody has their own point. Why do we have to separate ourselves and argue? And that's a powerful sign because New Earth consciousness doesn't deny what's happening in the world. We're not denying it. It refuses to be controlled by it. That's fear. Refuses to be controlled by fear. Death does not instill fear in you. You think of it as the next step to your energy transition and transformation. In fact, you begin to remember other lifetimes and do not relate to yourself as a specific personality. You start to say, who am I? A couple of you commented on my channel, said, who am I? I said, wow, that's great. Yeah, you don't know, right? Because you are all things. Instead of doom scrolling, you pause and ask, what am I choosing to energize right now? So what's the practice? I want you to go on a fear fast. All right. Those of you watching negative stuff. It's just entertainment. No, it's not. No, it's not. You're entangling with anything negative. Okay. Watch cooking channel. I watch cooking channels and singing contests and stuff like that. So for the next 7 days, See if you can go without any fear-based materials, media, whatever. It may be news channel, social media account, or a conversation pattern. If you're on social media, I've got some Instagram cute stuff. It's always the little dogs, but you got to notice it. When you're about to click or engage, take a breath and say, I choose peace. I choose the new earth. And pull your hand away. Gently redirect your intention to something uplifting, nature, inspiring content, prayer, silence. So if you're on television and or your computer, say, you know what other choice can I make? So what happens? Your algorithms, YouTube is going, oh, you like negativity, you like violence, you like the news, and it'll give you more of that. You say there's no good stuff out there, and I said, oh yeah, there is. Guess what? That is a reflection back to you of what you've been looking at. It's not YouTube doing it. It's YouTube giving you what it thinks you want according to your directives. Yeah, that's how the algorithm works. So every time you do this, you're voting for the timeline you want. Number two, you feel drawn to simplicity and truth. You're no longer satisfied with pretending. You might be decluttering your home. Certain relationships or roles feel false. Could be work. You have less tolerance for small talk and more hunger for real conversation. This is not you getting old and grumpy. This is your soul saying, I want authenticity. I want alignment. In New Earth energy, there's no room for masks. We live from truth even when it's uncomfortable. So here's your practice. Here's the alignment check. Each morning, ask yourself 3 questions. What is one thing I can release today that doesn't feel aligned with who I'm becoming? Is there somebody you're jealous of or angry of, or you have a pet peeve? Can you let it go? What is one truthful conversation I can have with myself, with another, or with source? A truthful one. Maybe I'm not being very nice to somebody. Maybe my body, I'm not treating my body well. Number 3, how can I simplify one area of my life today? Keep it simple. Write it down. Do just one small action and you will feel the relief. Number 3, your sensitivity is increasing. Oh my gosh, I cry. I cry at everything. I cry at happy. I cry at sad. I cry at happy. You might notice you can't tolerate certain foods. All of a sudden you're like, oh God, I can't take it anymore. Environments or people like you used to, crowded stores, harsh lighting, violent movies, they drain you faster. Maybe you feel other people's emotions in your body. You may even think, why am I so sensitive? What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. Your instrument's becoming finely tuned. The more you become in an enlightened state, the more your energy field connects to one. And it goes out here. When you're in ego, it's here. And you're not sensitive to anything out here. When you go into awakening, you actually connect to plants, animals, and you realize you're one and you feel that love and how important they are. You'll be taking insects outside, cockroaches, geckos. People probably think I'm crazy. And so it can't be perfect all the time here in this world, but do your best. If you're walking on the pavement and you see some ants, don't step on them. We are one. You're going to be very sensitive to that. So Cayce describes souls who come in here with a mission to hold a higher frequency during times of turbulence. There are people here specifically for that, and all of us can do that. High frequency beings are sensitive beings. The practice, at least once a day, close your eyes and imagine you're standing under a waterfall of golden light and say, any energy that is not mine or not for my highest good, I now release. I send it back to the source with love. Somebody gives you a gift and you don't want it. Who's the rightful owner? The person who gave it to you, right? So if somebody gives you something nasty, you don't have to receive it. So then fill every cell of my body with new earth frequency. This is what you say: peace, clarity, and strength. Just 2 to 3 minutes. This trains you to manage sensitivity as a gift, not a burden. A lot of you guys don't like that. I'm like, well, then tune out. You know what? Tune into some of the good stuff. How come it's always the bad stuff? Well, take note. Everything's a mirror. Sign 4, compassion is becoming your default. Another powerful sign, you catch yourself responding with compassion where you would have judged or attacked before. You'll see it differently. You see an angry person and you go into this space where it just hurts your soul to see them like that. And so you can turn things around. You see somebody acting out, instead of saying, what a horrible person, you think they're in pain. They're asleep. I've been there. We've all been there. You might still set boundaries. They don't have to be your best friend. New Earth is not about allowing abuse, but your perception changes. You know that beneath all the stories we are one. So the craziness, all of a sudden you look and you have great compassion for those who are really lost, right? They're lost. They'll find their way, and we're not judging their journey either. So many of you are, I want them to awaken. Like, no, you want them to do what they came here to do and that they're choosing. It's none of my business because guess what? They have their own pathway, and some of them will not go into awakening here. They didn't come here to do that. All right, there are different stages. Allow it, don't judge it, but go into compassion and know that if they choose it, that you're the one helping send it to them. This is 5D consciousness. This is what Dolores Cannon described when she talked about those who are ready to move into a world based on love. Here's the practice, the blessing response. Let's say you get somebody really nasty. When someone triggers you today, a driver, a commenter, a family member, pause, silently say, I see your pain. Because when they're acting out, they're in pain. We don't know what it is, but it's pain. I release you to your highest good. I choose love. So we're not going, oh, I forgive you. We're like, I release you. You're releasing your own pain and ridiculous response. All right. We have to take responsibility for that. If you get angry at somebody, I release you to your highest good and I choose love. All right. Not like, oh, bless you. I'm going to forgive you. No, no. Why did I get angry at that driver? Right. That's a human thing. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to keep them in your life, but you refuse to add more hatred to the field. Don't fuel it. That is new earth training. Sign number 5, you sense you're being prepared for something bigger, and I know you guys are feeling it. The last sign, it's subtle, but almost everyone on this path feels it. This quiet knowing my old life doesn't fit anymore, and I cannot continue to be that person in a world that is destroying itself. And I don't mean the planet, I mean those who inhabit her and all that's on her. I can't participate in that. I cannot be that person. And everything else that we're doing, that even if it's allowed or governments allow it, you don't have to participate in it. There is another way. You detach from the material world. You still enjoy it, but no longer need it for fulfillment. You find yourself choosing simplicity over more. I went in my closet. I actually had a dream about this. I had so many clothes that I went to leave. This is one of my dreams. I went to leave. Well, I have wonderful dreams. And I had all these clothes and I said, why did I pack so many clothes? And I remember thinking, this is going to take me an hour to get all these in my car. Oh, boy, is that a telling dream, right? Excess. And I thought, okay, and I'm still giving stuff away, believe me. So a simpler life is going to put you in a state of true peace, and it's going to open up your energy fields. So if nothing dramatic has changed yet, you're feeling a pull. You're having vivid dreams. I just said that. More synchronicities, repeating numbers, meaningful coincidences. And when you're focused on the higher thoughts, and like, if I don't want it, I don't think it. And if I find something coming in, I go, whoa, I have to shift over because it will show up in your life. The coincidences, the people, the events, the opportunities. You might feel restless, like you're in a waiting room between worlds. And this is exactly what Edgar Cayce hinted at. Souls who came in now during this timeline to assist with a planetary consciousness shift. All right. There are those who are here to aid, and you're responsible for assisting in that. All of us are. If you feel that inner nudge, you're not imagining it, you are remembering. So here's the practice, the daily assignment. Each night before sleep, say, Source, and say God if you want to, whatever you want to say. I'm not into names. Source, I am willing. Show me my next step in serving New Earth. Use me as a channel of peace, wisdom, and love. I say that every morning. Show me how I can serve highest and best. What do you need to hear? What do I need to say to help you to understand that you control what's out there in your life, and you can affect others by being the demonstration of light, of which they are too, but they forgot, just like we all did. Then keep a notebook by your bed, and when you wake up, write down feelings, ideas, images, dreams. I love going to sleep, even if they don't make sense yet. So over time, you'll see patterns. Guidance becomes clearer when we actually listen and we record them. You're gonna realize, oh my gosh, I am changing. Something is happening here, and it's amazing. So if you recognize even one of these signs, you're already on the path. Don't worry. There's no such thing as time anyways. There are gateways. December 21st is one. All right. It's the new opening, a new rebirth. And then there are other gateways and openings along the way. As we know, planets align and allow those opportunities. That'll be happening. Just like astrology is opening up energy fields and affects us. It's the same thing. So this isn't about perfection. You will still get triggered. You'll still have human days, all right? That doesn't go away. Oh, I'm not awakened. But New Earth is built moment by moment by souls who choose love over fear, truth over pretense, compassion over judgment. No more separation and judgment. No more, okay? Your practices are simple. Limit what feeds fear. Choose one small act of alignment each day. Clear your energy regularly, all right? Respond with blessing instead of attack. Ask every night, how can I serve? There's your 5. You do that, and you are raising your frequency. And this is how you prepare for after the shift. You become the consciousness you wish to see, and you become the shift. Doing that is shifting. You and thus everything else, because we are not separate, my friend. So I hope you enjoyed today. We're going to do more of this because I want to help you based on these predictions to know that we are affecting those outcomes at every moment. Those of you who really want to clean up your body, your environment, I'm not talking about spending more money. I'm talking about supporting businesses who are making right decisions to clean up our environment, no toxins, not harming the planet or animals, no plastic, okay? Using anything in this, I found this, it's probably 20 years old. It was in an old travel bag. It's poison, and then you're putting these tubes out there in my beautiful Gulf of Mexico, is it America? Out there. This is poisonous. Did you know if you swallow it, you're supposed to go to poison control? I have an alternative. It's called Bite. If you click on that link, you get $5 off. I have a water cleanser. I think it takes out 81 or 80 some toxins. Start cleaning your body. It's in a glass container. I have all kinds of shampoos, all kinds of things that you can purchase and support those business owners. Amazon's just a platform for them. And because of Amazon, they are able to reach millions of people and stay in business. So look, we're not going to diss Amazon, all right? I'm very thankful that there's a place where we can all go and support these businesses. All right, so I have all kinds of things down in the description. You can read them, including I have a coaching special. It's 20% off, 20 or 25% off. If you click, you want to spend an hour with me. Yeah. Do you want to talk about anything? I'll give you an assignment. I'll listen to what's going on. You fill out a form so that I know what we want to talk about. We spend time together. I give you an assignment and we clear up these problems. Come on into my email list. I've got free master classes, several of them. I've got PDFs for you to start monitoring this stuff. And we're just going to keep working on it. Of course, I've got all kinds of other things for you to take, courses, you name it. It's all in the description. Go explore, have fun. I hope to see you because we are community, we are one, and we need one another. We need teachers and we need diversity because you are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my perfect light being. Do you know that? That's what you are. Look in that mirror. Saying anything less is sort of disrespectful to the source, right? Source doesn't make mistakes. I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.